You want a MacBook but don't want to live under a bridge? Well, this 2017 MacBook Air might be your best option, so stick around this video to find out. I want to start off with the keyboard, and man is this comfortable. The keys are super responsive, quiet, and with great travel. I can easily type for hours without any finger pain. In fact, this is arguably one of the best MacBooks to type on. The biggest downside, of course, is the lack of Touch ID, which means you'll have to type in your password after every restart. It's honestly not that big of an issue. I pretty much type it without even thinking. Next up, the Trackpad is definitely a pleasure to use, and brand new Windows laptops still haven't caught up. It's fairly big and has all the multi-touch gestures, but it's still not as good as newer MacBooks. It does have haptic trackpads, while this MacBook has a physical button. Remember though, you're trying to save money. Oh, and if you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Speaking of saving money, Apple clearly didn't spend more than $10 on this display, and I gotta say it looks awful. Sure, it's not that big of an issue for web browsing, word processing, emails and all that, but the resolution just isn't high enough for Netflix or YouTube. Not to mention these big silver bezels, which are probably the thing that aged the worst in this laptop. So if you plan to do any photo editing or any task that involves color grading, stay away from this MacBook. On the bright side, the battery life is amazing. It gets you a good 8 hours of web browsing and a whopping 10 hours of note taking on pages. Also, just like the new Macs, it's got a MagSafe charger. Not only it's a very cool feature, but it might also save your laptop from a pretty bad fall. The port selection is also perfect. You've got a 3.0 full-size USB on each side, an SD card slot, and a Thunderbolt port for display output. This is definitely convenient. Now looking at the performance, the Intel Core i5 packed in this laptop is starting to show its age, especially compared to newer MacBook Airs. Of course, this is not to say it's a slow machine. It's capable enough for about 80% of people, but it really can't keep up with video editing or any other power-intense tasks. Trust me when I say this, because I edit all my videos on this MacBook, and it's not fun. Storage also isn't great at only 128GB of flash memory. If you store a lot of photos and videos on your laptop, you can upgrade the internal SSD, but if you just do basic office or school stuff, it won't be an issue. Now finally, let's talk about software. Since this is an Apple product, it perfectly syncs with your other devices, and of course it has AirDrop, which can save you tons of time when moving files. Apple did unfortunately drop support for this MacBook, which means it's stuck on macOS Monterey, but don't get me wrong, it's still gonna get security updates for a long time, and all apps and programs are gonna work perfectly. I often see people with 2011 MacBooks and they have no issues with those. Now to conclude this video, this is one of the best laptops for students. At less than $300, there's just no better option. It's got everything a student needs, like a great keyboard, great webcam and speakers, a long-lasting battery, and it's also super thin and light. And that's it. The only alternative would be the 13-inch 2015 MacBook Pro, which has a much better display, but comes at the cost of worse portability and battery life. I'd recommend you to buy this from eBay, but remember to ask the seller for the battery health data. You definitely don't want to risk getting a bad battery. So if this video was helpful, leave a comment down below, subscribe, and have a great day.